Alright, so brand new Esports Boxing Club video. This is their gameplay walkthrough and dev update. We've been waiting for something like this because, of course, when there's a brand new game that's coming out that we're all really interested in, the main thing we want to see is we want to see gameplay. We want to see how the game is going to work when you're actually playing it. And this is supposed to show us some gameplay walkthrough, and I'm really excited and interested to see what this thing looks like in action. So we're going to go ahead and watch the video together. It is 11 minutes long. I'm pretty sure by the time this video drops, a lot of you would have already seen the whole entire thing. So I will be pausing from time to time to talk about what I'm looking at as I give you guys my reaction. But if you haven't seen the whole entire thing and you want to watch the whole video through with no interruptions, without having me pausing in between, you can stop my video first. Look in the description below. You'll see a link to their video. Go ahead, watch the whole entire thing through, and then you can come back and watch my reaction to it. But without wasting time, let's go right ahead and check this thing out.
Hi everyone, it's Ash again at Steel City Interactive. This video is our July development update and a walkthrough of the gameplay. I know you've all been looking forward to seeing this, and we're really excited to show you where we've got to. So in this video, we're going to take you through a number of in-fight mechanics. We're going to talk about our launch plans, and make sure you stick around till the end because we have a fighter reveal that we think you're going to like. I also want to say thank you to the boxers who agreed to be in this video. So whilst we were pleased with the feedback...
Damn! Dude.
We'd received from our March gameplay footage, we knew there were still many items to fix and upgrade, and I'm delighted.
Dude, right away, man, right away, I am completely... Well, first of all, I've said before that I'm a little bit... I hope that we don't only have this like super zoomed in camera angle, but just right away, the visuals in this game blows the mind. It really does. I love the way they blur out the crowd, and then the vibrant colors, man, the saturation of this thing. I mean, this literally looks like I'm watching a real boxing match. It's crazy. It's crazy the amount of detail they're able to get into this thing.
Progress of that now. As you can see, there's been some significant improvements to our overall venue, lighting, and crowd. So throughout the rest of this video, you'll be able to see the actual controllers in each of the corners. We've put this in there just so that you can see the responsiveness of the fighters in the game. It's an area that we've put in a lot of effort because the responsiveness of the controls was incredibly important to our footwork system.
I'll tell you guys what I'm noticing with the responsiveness of these controls. It is not too responsive to where the fighters feel like they're floating. Like, responsiveness is really good when you're moving around your fighters, but you don't want it to you don't want it to feel so responsive that it feels like the fighters have no weight, like they're just floating around. And when I look at the controller right there, and I'm noticing the left stick as it's moving, there's a little bit of there's a small lag there, but it's good. It's not bad because it's gonna give the fighters weight. It's gonna make you feel like you're actually moving around a person as opposed to this floating object that's just gliding all over the place. So I love what I'm seeing so far.
And same with the punch control system. So putting all these aspects together, we needed it to flow. So here you'll be able to see exactly how responsive the fighters are.
Okay. See, right away, like I said, I'm hoping that we get different camera angles, because what you notice is as the fighters come close to each other, the camera zooms in too much on them. I'm hoping that we can just get a view like this, just like this. Even if the fighters come close to each other, it's the camera is still far away and it's not zoomed into where we can see the whole entire fighter, as opposed to like having it zoomed in. So that's gonna work if we're given a lot of different camera angles. You know what I mean? Like wide, tight camera angle, cinematic, broadcast, stuff like that. I'm really hoping we get to see something like that.
And we're incredibly happy with the results so far. Before we continue to the next phase, we'd just like to say that the referee is going to be replaced with the legendary Kenny Bayless. So I'm sure you'll all be as pleased as we are that there'll be no more Mr. Generic Referee in our future videos. So Ethan, our gameplay programmer, will take you through.
Interesting. So it looks like they're combining buttons as well, and you could also work with this with the right stick. So left uppercut A plus X, right uppercut B plus Y. To weave, it's LT plus the left stick. And then blocking while you're moving is RT plus the right stick. It's very interesting controls. We'll see how that
mechanics. Works. Please note that none of this is final as we continue to develop ESBC.
So the movement system is split into various states, allowing for full motion control, where pushing the analog stick all the way produces quick steps and halfway has smaller steps. The transition is very seamless.
Oh, yes, yes. If you guys remember, I've been asking for this for a long time with the EA games. What they're essentially saying right here is you're going to control how fast the fighter is moving around the cage based on how hard you feather the left stick. If you push all the way, the fighter is going to move forward faster. But if you push just a little bit, the fighter will just slowly inch forward. Now, EA did this with EA MMA, and then they abandoned it completely. And I've been asking for that because it's going to give you finer footwork, finer distance control if you can just slowly inch towards your opponent, as opposed to every single movement you see in the cage is both fighters just accelerating over and over and over again. This is great. Awesome. Fucking awesome.
This is all part of our footwork system, allowing for angles to be
That looks
created.
good.
However, it's all about the momentum of your fighter. Your fighter will shift their weight from one leg to the other. They won't just instantly float in the opposite direction. So we're really excited about this new feature that we've put into the movement system, and it's giving the player the ability to showboat and actually display some of the mannerisms that some of the marquee fighters will have. So if you've seen Roy Jones Jr. fight, I'm sure you're probably thinking now some of the things that you might be able to do with a fighter like Roy Jones Jr. or even Muhammad Ali. So it really opens up the possibilities. This feature is toggled by pressing up on the D-pad and moving the left stick around in the direction that you want.
That is innovative. That is extremely innovative. So essentially, just like in other games, like in UFC, for example, you press a direction on the D-pad, the fighter starts to showboat, and then you can move the fighter around as he's showboating. Is that innovative? I think it is. I don't think we've seen that before. Maybe we have. You guys can correct me below, but that's really nice. That's really nice. As you guys see, the fighter starts to showboat, then you start moving him around the cage as he's performing those movements. It's going to add to fighter uniqueness. It's going to add to the creativity of the fighter. I love it. I love it.
Want to go. So what this does is it brings out the unique movements for the boxer. This is a combination of showboating and the odd feint within the movement. This is all part of the boxer's personality. Some boxers will have more feints in their loose movement, some boxers will have more of a showboating style. Here you can see Lawrence Okolie feinting a punch, but then lands a nicely timed left hook. This is something that is toggled seamlessly, going from loose movement back into your normal stance and vice versa. This is something building out for some of our marquee fighters in the game, but overall it adds another level of realism and tactics into the mix within Esports Boxing Club. Dodging punches will also be possible by flicking the left stick in the direction that you want to go. Combining this with time counters will be key. However, this is...
I really hope that this is not just the default camera, man. Because you'll notice how, I mean, the fighter literally goes out of frame.
Dodging punches will also be possible by flicking the left stick in the...
Look at this. The fighter is he's completely out of frame. If I'm controlling this fighter on the screen, like let's say we're online and I'm the one that's controlling this fighter, and I dodge a punch and I try to get out the way, and then my fighter is completely out of the screen because the camera is so zoomed in. like, this is just not good. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay if you're playing offline, but in a competitive setting, I don't want to ever not see my fighter. Like, there should not be a situation where my fighter is out of the screen like this. Like, this is just, it's just not good. And for God's sake, don't take this as me hating. I'm just trying to present some constructive criticism right here. No competitive player is going to have fun playing the game if all of a sudden he can't see his fighter, or like more than half of his fighter is away from the screen. You gotta give us a camera angle that's set so I can always see my fighter at every single time, because this is going to affect gameplay 100%.
Direction that you want to go. Combining this with time counters will be key. However, this isn't a case of just initiating a dodge when you realize a punch is coming. You have to anticipate the punch, learn your opponent's patterns and fight styles. Here you can see Lyndon Arthur dodging Lawrence Accordi's punches. However, if you do it too early, you could get yourself into trouble.
Hold on a sec.
However, if you do it too early, you could get yourself into trouble. So timing is key.
Very good. Okay, so I see what they're saying. Well, first of all, what he's saying is that this is not going to be a reaction-based thing. It's going to be an anticipation-based thing, and that's realistic. Yes, some fighters, a lot of fighters are able to slip punches on reaction. They see a jab come in, they slip. But a lot of times in boxing, in kickboxing, in whatever, the ability to move your head has a lot to do with anticipation. You see a left hand coming, you know what's going to come right after that is most likely going to be a right hand. So you slip this way and you slip to the other direction because you anticipate that he threw a left, it's most likely going to be a right coming, which is a lot of times why same side combinations work wonders, because a lot of fighters are not anticipating that. So you go jab, left hook, and the fighter keeps leaning in one direction, you catch them. So I like the fact that as they're building the game, they're keeping that in mind. They don't want to build a game where you can just reactively dodge every single punch. That will not be a good game at all. So the fact that you still need some anticipation, and you get punished if you try to proactively move your head. Like if you stand in front of your opponent and you start leaning in one direction, that's not going to automatically dodge your punches. You're still going to get hit. That is realistic. That is a really good way to build your game, and also anticipate the cheese and exploits that will happen as players start playing. So that already is going to deal with bobbleheading, and I really, really like that. I appreciate them thinking that through and adding that to the game. Great job.
Also, dodges will look different depending on which fighter you select. The marquee fighters will have a different style. Activating the loose move.
You can learn from this, EA. I don't know how many times we gotta say it. Certain fighters move their head in different ways. Not every single fighter moves their upper body the same way. Here you've got Esports Boxing Club implementing that into their game. Marquee fighters, recognizable fighters, are going to move their head, their upper body, in a different way than other generic fighters. A+. Great job.
Movement modifier will also change how your dodge will look, as you can see here. Another move in the player's defensive arsenal is the ability to weave. This is activated by holding down the left trigger whilst moving the left stick in the direction you want to weave. So here you can see Lyndon Arthur dodging some of Lawrence Accordi's punches. It can also be used as a tactic off the ropes, and you can also block while you weave as well. Here you can see Lawrence Accordi hitting Lyndon Arthur with some counter shots, whilst Lyndon Arthur's throwing a lot of punches using a lot of stamina. It's clear to see here that Lawrence is playing a defensive game, trying to make Lyndon miss as much as possible so that he uses up all his stamina. This is because the stamina has a big impact in terms of punch resistance and the power of your own punch. In addition to
man. Let's keep watching.
being able to weave, players will also now be able to slip punches by pushing the left stick in the direction they want to perform the slip. This is a very quick and efficient way of dodging punches, adding to your defensive game.
That looks good. That looks great.
So the block system in the SBC has two options. Fully manual, which is 3 points on the head, 3 points on the body, left, center, and right,
What?
that you can block by holding down the right trigger.
Hold on. Say it
body
again.
actions. So the block system in ESBC has two options. Fully manual, which is 3 points on the head, 3 points on the body, left, center, and right, that you can block by holding down the right trigger and moving the right stick.
Whoa. 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 That is crazy. Hold on. Hold RT, and then when you move the right stick in different directions, the fighters hey, that is called ambition. Esports boxing, you guys are not fucking around. That is the definition of ambition. That's fully manual. Wow.
There's a semi-automatic mode as well, which will require you to block either the head or the body. We feel by having both of these options, players who want a deeper simulation can select the manual mode, whilst the players who prefer for a more arcade feel can select the semi-automatic mode instead.
Wow. Wow.
So we're pleased to confirm that players will be able to throw punches whilst blocking. Whilst these punches aren't as powerful as throwing a punch without blocking, it opens up another aspect of defense for the player. You can throw a jab and a straight whilst holding the block button and flicking the right stick, selecting the desired punch. So combinations play a very important role in ESBC. Each fighter has a total of 42 punches, so you have to be able to put these together. Whether they're from your front foot, the back foot, where it's going from their head to the body, or whether it's stepping away. So combining this together had to feel satisfying. It had to be seamless, where you're able to pick any punch you want, throw it from any angle you want to, and put together at least 2 different punches into a combination. So because flash knockdowns and one-punch knockouts exist in ESBC...
Dude, this is beautiful, man. Like, this is just beautiful. This is beautiful. Like,
you have to really pick...
Just I love the lighting. I really love the lighting here, man. The lighting and saturation. I mean, this is just beautiful.
Your shots. You can't throw too wildly, and you can't leave yourself open, because if you do so, the game will punish you for not taking into account your opponent's playstyle. So right now we're working heavily on individual punches and custom movesets.
Okay.
Here you can see Lawrence Agolli throwing his jab, his right hook, his left hook, and it looks distinctively different to the other fighters in the game.
Okay.
So this is something we're focused on. We want to allow players to pick and choose certain punches from different movesets to essentially create their own for their own fighters.
So I'm now going to talk about one of our main philosophies in the studio, which is innovation. One of the things we wanted to recreate in ESBC was the ability for a fighter to be dangerous even whilst they're hurt. You might want to rush in and try and finish them off, but as we all know, in boxing...
I want to rewatch this a little bit. It just, that opening from that slip looked so big.
One of the things we wanted to recreate in ESBC was the ability for a fighter to be dangerous. To recreate in ESBC was the ability for a fighter to be dangerous even whilst they're hurt. You might want to rush in and try and finish them off, but as we all know, in boxing, one punch can change everything. So whilst we're talking about innovation, I want to take you through some of the career stats that we've introduced in ESBC.
Dude, those gloves are so small, man. These gloves are tiny.
That we've introduced in ESBC. So this covers everything from health to stamina, conditioning, agility. We do have a couple of interesting stats that haven't really been done before in combat sports. So we have a discipline stat and we also have a confidence stat. Now, whilst this was a very UI-driven part of the game, we've decided to start developing an interactive career hub. So I'd like to talk to you about our development journey and launch plans. We recently had some very exciting news regarding additional investment. This means additional resources to focus on areas we didn't think possible until after early access. Now, we did have plans to launch early access this summer. Because of the massive expansion of the game, the roster, the expectations, we have to make sure we do justice to the names, whether it's Muhammad Ali, Canelo Alvarez, or the upcoming reveal. We can't rush something that we know everybody is excited about, including us with our own high expectations. So what this means is the early access window for this summer won't happen. Now, I realize some of you will be disappointed by that. We also realize it's
disappointed. Well, not me, because I expected it. It's like look. This is an indie game developer, okay? If you did not expect delays, then you're just being completely delusional. Expect delays. Expect more delays. Expect all the delays. I mean, that's just it was expected. This does not come as a surprise to me whatsoever. So I'm not disappointed. It's what I knew was going to happen.
It's been 10 years since the last licensed boxing game, which has been frustrating for those of us who love boxing. That's the primary reason this studio was created. What we cannot do, and what we won't do, is rush for short-term success. That's not the kind of studio we are. We want to do this right. This is why we're not going to announce a launch window. The next announcement on this topic will be a specific release date. I'm hoping you can see the progress we've made in this gameplay video and the passion for what we're trying to achieve. I'm now going to hand you over to Todd Grisham, who has something he's been waiting to tell you about.
What's up, everybody? I am Todd Grisham, and I'm here in Sheffield, England at Steel City Interactive as we continue to build the greatest fight video game of all time, Esports Boxing Club. This is the 1024 scanning studio, 180 cameras, the most state-of-the-art equipment you can possibly find. You've seen the footage. You know how good it is. You've seen the fighters we've managed to sign, right? Terrence Crawford, Roy Jones Jr., Muhammad Ali, the list goes on and on. Canelo Alvarez, you know the names, but there's one that we've somehow managed to keep a secret. How? I do not know, but the secret is no more. I give you, ladies and gentlemen, this man.
And now, here is the former unified world champ.
I'm not, this was already spoiled for me, so I know who it is, but still.
And the current popular, undefeated, and reigning WBC ring and lineal heavyweight champion of the world, introducing the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury!
Now, that is a gorgeous character model. That's a gorgeous character model. And I'm looking past the lighting, too. Like, the lighting makes him look extremely dynamic and really, really nice. But just beyond the lighting, looking at his body, I mean, EA gave him abs, for God's sake. I mean, come on now. Like, that's a proper character model. His body is realistic. Just the proportions look realistic. This is a very, very good character model. Okay, so I will say this, man. 99% of what I saw in this game so far, positive. Absolutely amazing. Like, 99% of what I saw was incredible. All the positives include, first of all, I mean, we've said this a million times before, but the visuals in this game. I mean, the first time the video started, I mean, the first thing I noticed right away was just the visuals, saturation, the lighting effects, the way the crowd was blurred out, the quality of the character models, how realistic everything looked. Just amazing, man. Amazing. And that stuff is very important. Like, it's very important to have the game look good. And a lot of times, you know, what's going on under the hood is generally what the biggest focus is on for a lot of these game companies, and then they forget that the game also has to be aesthetically pleasing. This game is absolutely gorgeous. The one thing you cannot say is that the game does not look good. It looks good. It looks absolutely incredible. So that's one. Second, I absolutely love what they're doing with the footwork, with the movement. I mean, we've already seen that in the past. We know that they're absolutely hitting that out the park. The new thing that we noticed today was the different speeds of the movement. If you feather the stick a little bit, the fighter is going to slowly inch forward, like the fighter is trying to slowly get himself into boxing range. And if you push the stick all the way, the fighter is of course going to move forward or retreat a little bit faster. That's realistic. Your video game has to have that. Absolutely has to have that. Next, that I really blew my mind was the blocking system. I mean, are you kidding me? We've never seen that before. A completely manual system where you're able to move your fighter's hand to whatever position you want to move it to be able to block punches. That is a different level of simulation. Like, for those of you that want to get completely immersed in this boxing thing, that is for you. That's what you should absolutely go for. And then there's also a second option, which is the automatic. That's going to give you the ability to block high or block low. And probably that's what I'm probably going to go for. Because, I mean, the other one just seems so difficult, so complicated. I'm definitely going to play around with it. But, man, it looks like a completely different level. And players that are able to successfully block using that, I mean, major kudos to those players, because that to me looks incredible. Next up, I love the fact that they pointed out that they are trying to make sure that different fighters move their head differently. We have different animations for different fighters. The marquee fighters in the game, like the Canelo Alvarez is in the game. I mean, now that we just saw the last fighter that was just shown, he's known for keeping his hands down and moving his head really well. He's definitely going to get some unique head movement animations, and I think that's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. That's going to make the fighters all not look the same. They also pointed out the fact that they're working really hard to make sure that the punch animations are also different between fighters. So a lot of the fighters will not have the same exact punch animation sets. That's really, really good. Overall, man, I really, really appreciate what I'm seeing. I also love the fact that they're delaying the game when they need to. The last thing we want is for them to rush the game out the window, out the door, and then you pick the game up and it ends up being crap. Nobody wants that. You know, I would like to pick this game up and everything is working as intended. That's what I would like. So again, 99% of what I saw right here, really, really love. They are headed in the right direction. The game is looking absolutely phenomenal. Now, a few things that I did point out in the video that has me a little bit worried, which I'm pretty certain they're going to fix, because it would be crazy if they didn't. One, and the biggest thing, the camera. This is an issue that I generally have with a lot of games. EA did the same thing in UFC 4 with the ground game. At some points, the camera, you start fighting the camera is shaking too much. It's zooming in and zooming out, and it's like, I would appreciate that stuff if I'm watching a movie. You know what I mean? If I'm watching a movie, yes, you can pull out all the beautiful camera tricks in the world, wow me with the zoom ins and the zoom outs and the circling of the camera. But when I'm playing a video game and I'm trying to control my character and I'm trying to make sure, like, we need a camera that's going to stay steady, that's not going to be all over the place, that I'm not going to have to fight. A camera that's going to allow me to control my fighter properly. I want to know exactly where I'm at in the ring at all times. You zoom in too much, I'm going to lose that. If you zoom in too much and I push the stick back and my fighter backs up, and even if it's for a split second, if my fighter is away from the frame, that's an issue, that's a problem. So I'm really hoping that what we're seeing right there was just one camera angle. I'm hoping that there are multiple, especially one that stays steady so I can see exactly what's going on as I'm playing the game. Also, following the camera angle as they were punching and hitting each other, so many flashes. Too many flashes, man. Too many flashes. Just the light flashes and the camera shakes when a shot lands, and I mean the shake was extremely noticeable. I would love an option to turn that stuff off, for sure. Like, if you guys want to keep that, that's fine, but give us an option to turn all that stuff up. No flashes, no camera shakes. I just want to hit the opponent and not have the camera like going crazy in front of me, because again, that really takes away from the game, especially when you're trying to be competitive. Last but not the least, some of the punches still look clunky. It still looks clunky. It still looks uncanny. It still looks weird. You know, you guys, a lot of you hate when I say that, but that's what I'm noticing, and I have high hopes. I'm seeing definite improvements, 100%. Seeing definite improvements with the way the punches are coming along, but I'm really hoping that the game does not drop with the punches still looking like they do right now. I would like to see that those animations look a little bit more fluid, less uncanny, a little less clunky. That's what I would really like to see. But like I said, man, overall, this was a huge success. I love a vast majority of what I saw, and my excitement is through the roof. I cannot wait for this thing to drop and to have a different video game that I can play on here, a different game that I can upload, a boxing game. You don't got to worry about kicks. You don't got to worry about people taking you down and holding you down. You can just stand and throw hands. Are you joking me right now, man? Let's get it. I can't freaking wait. So, but that is it, man. Hope you guys enjoyed. I mean, I'm really glad they added Tyson Fury in this thing. That's a big addition. Again, it got spoiled for me. One of you guys spoiled that one. But still, the excitement is through the roof, and I cannot wait. Anyways, that is it. Thank you for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know in the comment section. And also let me know what you guys thought. Give me your thoughts on it. Be real. You know, be real. There's no, just let me know what you thought about it. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out.